Try it out. Try it out. Yeah. Wait. Alrighty. Yes, back. Definitely sorry for that. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. Um, sort of connection issue. So who knows? Who knows what happened there? So, I mean, that's good though, because we're back, so we can go back into the story. We can finish the story tonight. So that's good. So, definitely appreciate that. It's always good to finish the story. Anyway, so we were right about the where I was reading through was the Cloud City here after they play the song. So I will I'll play the song for you guys in case if you missed it, just in case. All right. And so that's kind of the song. And as the song plays, Greg is dancing and being paraded by the Cloud City citizens, praised for his presence as he leads their song. At the end of it, Greg gets stuck in a big tuba being played by a pig. The pig huffs and puffs until Greg is blown out of it, crashing into a gate that reads, "Do not open." But the gate has already been broken into. Lightning flashes and thunder rolls the moment Greg crashes into it. "Oh no!" cries out the citizens. The old the north wind is loose. The citizens scream and immediately start to run. From the gate, shadowed rain clouds, come three gray figures, each resembling a cloud. A swingy jazzy song begins to play as the three figures puff up their figure and dance in unison with a jazzy song. I think I do have that one as well. Jaros begin to hide in their cloud houses, doing exactly as the song suggests. As they do, the north wind appears, a bigger cloud figure with a great gray figure, a long white beard, and bushy eyebrows. As the song continues. Good song. As he appears, he blows with a ferocious wind. In a split second, he turns into a small tornado, blowing more wind and causing the hats of the citizens to fly off first before they begin to tumble through the air and across the clouds, startling Greg. With a quick response, Greg finds a lone cannon and he fires it at the old north wind. Effortlessly, the north wind blows the cannonballs away. But since this is the spectral figure of Greg, the scene shifts over to where Wirt and Greg are physically, where a cold wind drifts over them, causing them to shiver in their deep sleep. Lightning flashes and the wind gets worse. Among the forest, Beatrice can be seen trying to fly through the storm. She calls out to them, "Wirt! Greg! Is anyone there?" But the thunder crashes and the lightning reveals a scary owl, startling Beatrice, who flies elsewhere. The storm worsens and the wind turns into snow, lightly drifting on top of the brothers and Greg's frog, beginning to freeze them. The old north wind laughs evilly in front of Greg's spectral self back in the clouds. Spinning a miniature tornado, he sends it over to startle the Cloud City citizens and shocks Greg, who turns it into an even fight. "Hey, North Wind!" shouts Greg and blows raspberries at him with his tongue out. Grumbles the North Wind. "I don't like that one bit. That makes me mad." The North Wind chases Greg over small gaps of the cloud and then to a tree, where Greg escapes through the inside, but the North Wind causes the wind to throw Greg out and into a small house. Sounds of a violent struggle can be heard from inside, where the Cloud City citizens gather round murmuring. Just then, as the sound stops, Greg exits the door triumphantly with the bottle labeled Old Windbag, with the face of North Wind on the label. Greg laughs with his victory in hand. The crowd cheers him on before an angelic womanly figure from the clouds arrives, surrounded in light. Greg gasps in wonder. "Hello, Gregory," says the Queen of the Clouds, doves flying gently over her head. "Hello," greets Greg kindly. "I am the Queen of the Clouds. Thank you for saving my city." "You're welcome. I shall grant you one wish. What do you wish for most of all?" "Well, I'm supposed to be the leader, but I don't know how to get home. Do you know?" "Of course. If you wish, I can certainly send you home." "Great! Let's go get Wirt." "I'm sorry, Gregory, but Wirt cannot go with you. He is too lost." The Queen waves a small wand in her hand, showing Greg an image of Wirt with small roots twisting around his body at the base of the tree where they are sleeping. Greg gasped at the sight. "But anything is possible if you set your mind to it, right?" asked Greg. "See how the Edelwood grows around him," explains the Queen. "The beast has claimed him already." "Oh, I should have been leading better. I was goofing off again, like always, and now we're stuck here. Isn't there anything I can do?" "I'm sorry, Gregory. Wirt's fate lies solely in the beast's hands now." "Then I know what to wish for." Greg beckons the Queen closer and whispers in her ear. She gasps at his response. "Are you sure?" she asks. Greg nods in approval. "Then it shall be done," she says with dismay. There is a short twinkle in the stars before the scene cuts back to the corporeal selves of Wirt and Greg. All around them, snow has piled up. Wirt is partially covered in snow and leaves and still has roots and branches wrapped around him. He shivers as Greg approaches him. Hey, Wirt," says Greg. "Shh," whispers Wirt. "I'm trying to sleep." "Okay, you sleep. I'm sorry I got us lost, Wirt. Will you take care of Ronald for me?" "Okay, I have to go now. Goodbye, Wirt." Greg leaves Wirt to head into the forest, and the ominous, shadowy silhouette of the beast lurks inside. "Yes, come, Gregory," beckons the beast. "There is much to be done." "And then you'll show us the way home, right?" asks Greg. "Of course. We made a promise, didn't we?" says the beast, slightly chuckling as he does. "Greg?" mumbles Wirt, tossing and turning before he wakes up. "Greg? Greg! Where did he go? No, Greg!" Wirt snaps off the vines and twigs he was wrapped in and runs into the cold, snowy forest. He calls out for his brother frantically. "Greg? Greg! What did I do? Greg!" Wirt begins to run further into the forest, but slips on a patch of black ice and causes him to wince in pain. He gets up again, despite the pain, and calls out to Greg again, but there is no answer. Wirt runs in a different direction, but ultimately falls through ice of a now frozen pond. Struggling to get his bearings, he sinks deeper into the water. From his echoing memories, he remembers a big net pulling him up into a rowboat, where he faintly hears the desperate cries of Beatrice. "Oh, you got him! Pull! Is he alive? Wirt!" "Greg?" stammers Wirt in between shuddering and cold breaths. "Wirt, are you okay?" asks Beatrice, coming to Wirt's blurry vision. "Greg," says Wirt weakly. Where's Greg, Wirt?" "Beatrice," Wirt says with an unsteady breath before falling unconscious in the rowboat, where Beatrice watches over him and the large fish paddles the boat. "Wirt!" echoes Beatrice. But the wind continues to howl, and the cold wind blows more snow and ice over the forest. And yeah, that is the end of chapter 8. So hopefully you guys are still here. Yeah, so definitely sorry for that weird connection thing, but yeah, we only got a couple chapters left to go. definitely excited excited to finish this. So it's been very, very fun for a new project that I wanted to try out, I guess. But only a couple left, and we should be good to go. So yeah, fish pulling a human out of water. Yeah, I know. I think that's probably why they wanted to put that um that kind of theme into the show. Be like, where should we put for who would be a fisherman? Oh yeah, a fish. I mean, that must be like a really big fish. So fishing people, yeah. If they want it to be like opposite like that, yeah, that would make sense. It's their own form of revenge. It's like, well, since people pull fish out of the ponds and lakes with nets, now it's their turn. So all right. So we're gonna go into the next chapter here, chapter 9, Into the Unknown. So we only got a couple left. And yeah, good times ahead. So here we go. Chapter 9, Into the Unknown. A flashback of Wirt is shown as he's sitting on his bed, dressed in a brown sweater and blue jeans. He sits with his hands resting his head, seemingly worried as a song is played in the background. And I think I actually might have the song. I probably don't actually. Yeah, it doesn't seem like I have it. Okay, that's fine. Wirt's room is somewhat of a mess. On his bed, his clarinet lays open, while on his floor is with a scatter of paper, books, and socks, while on the wall is a continuation of papers with scrawlings on them. On his desk is a recording machine, loose papers, and a couple of pencils inside. Wirt paces back and forth while the music plays. Finally, he decides to go to the tape recorder and pulls out a cassette labeled For Sarah. He throws the cassette, causing the tape to become tangled. He looks at it for a moment before picking it up again and rewinding the tape with a pencil. Soon afterwards, he begins to pick out various items around his house to make a gnome costume with the pointy red hat and the blue and red coat with gold buttons. He stands in front of the mirror where, with a fan blowing the cape, he accepts the costume. Yes, yes, he exclaims with triumph before he leaves his house, grasping the cassette in his hands. Into the Unknown. Later that night, Wirt appears at a high school football game, but he stays behind the fence that leads into the bleachers, full of fans who are cheering at the players on the field. Near to the sidelines is a mascot shaped as a bee. Wirt looks at the mascot with a wide smile. From behind Wirt, he hears his brother Greg. Goodbye, calls out Greg, backing away from a house that's close to the high school field. Thank you, old lady Daniels. Goodbye, Gregory, waves the woman who has pink hair, dressed in a pink and blue outfit and holding a rake. And please don't call me old lady. Yes, sir, young man, responds Greg before coming up to Wirt. Hey, Wirt, what you doing? Nothing, responds Wirt. I was helping old lady Daniels break some leaves in exchange for candy, says Greg, holding out a handful of wrapped candy. Greg, it's Halloween. Candy's free. Old lady Daniels says nothing in this world is free. Oh, hey, look, I also got this rock. Greg pulls out a rock with a silly face painted on it. Hey, Wirt, says Greg in a deep voice. Want to learn some rock facts? Wirt looks away towards the stadium. So, continues Greg, putting away the rock, you want to go look for frogs with me like you said you would a while ago and haven't done it yet? No. I'm busy, says Wirt, staring at the mascot. Is that bee named Sarah? Asks Greg. What? Your tape says For Sarah. Are you going to give it to Sarah the bee? I want to, but I can't. Can I see it? Yeah, it's just a tape. Yeah. Okay, I'll give it to her for you. Oh, Greg, wait, no. Despite Wirt's calling, Greg runs ahead, but bumps into a few more high school students dressed in Halloween costumes. All three of them are girls, one with bunny ears on her head, the second dressed as a cowgirl, and the third as an egg. Greg bumps into them. Oh, look at you, cheers Kathleen, the one with bunny ears. What are you supposed to be? It's an elephant costume, blurts Greg, trying to replicate the trumpeting of an elephant. See my trunk? Yeah, that's cute, said Kathleen flatly. I'm an egg, says Rondi bluntly. Yeah, everyone knows you're an egg, Rondi, says Kathleen. Shut it, Kathleen, bickers Rondi. Whatever, snaps Kathleen. So what are you, Wirt? Some kind of gnome? Wirt walks forward at the comment. I don't know. Well, it's just I see. I thought I was just. Hey, what's this? Asks Kathleen, grabbing the tape from Greg. That's Wirt's tape for Sarah, answers Greg. Ooh, Wirt loves Sarah, calls out Kathleen mockingly. You want us to give it to her for you? It's for a different Sarah, stammers Wirt, not the one you're thinking about. Yeah, Wirt's talking about mascot Sarah, says Greg, the one he's been looking at all night. What? Says Greg, embarrassed. Ooh, all the girls say. Wirt's got a crush on Sarah, says Rondi. Well, you better act fast, because we heard Jason Funderburger is going to ask her out at the Halloween party tonight. Jason Funderburger? Repeats Wirt. Yeah, says Kathleen and Rondi. But, stammers Wirt. You okay, Wirt? Asks Rondi. Yeah, everything's Jason Funderburger, he mumbles. What? Asks the girls. Uh, uh, Jason Funderburger, stammers Wirt. I got to go. Bye, says Greg as he and Wirt back out of the stadium and into the town, where multiple houses are lit from inside, welcoming Halloween. Is the dove never to meet the sea for want of the odious mountain? Wirt recites quietly. Hey, so, says Greg from behind him, frog hunt? Huh, says Wirt. I keep hearing ribboning around town, and I think it's the last frog of the season. No, I just want to wallow in misery. Sarah and Jason Funderburger. Ugh, that guy's got his act together. He's the total package. I can't compete. You're the total package too, Wirt, encourages Greg. I bet she'll really like your tape. Wirt gasps in realization. We never got the tape back, he exclaims. I can't let her hear that tape. Why not? That has got poetry and clarinet on it, Greg. Poetry and clarinet. Sarah and Jason Funderburg are going to start dating, and then they're going to hear that tape, and they're just going to sit and listen to it and laugh and laugh and laugh. Why don't you ask Sarah out first? That way, no. Ugh, why did you have to take that tape? My life is crumbling all around me. Okay, I think we should put our frog hunt on hold and get that tape back. Wirt and Greg hurriedly run back to the high school stadium, where the last of the crowd is cycling out. The brothers end up meeting the same girls in costume from before. Guys, where's the tape? Asks Wirt quickly. We put it in Sarah's jacket for you, answers Kathleen. You better hurry. She's changing in the track shack. Excuse me, says Wirt, knocking over at Rondi. The jacket. Wirt hurries over to a small shack where Sarah's jacket is hung on a post. A couple is standing nearby talking to each other closely. As Wirt tries to dig through the jacket pocket, the younger guy of the couple looks over. Hey, he says, are you trying to spy on Sarah? No, says Wirt. Run, Greg. Wirt takes off immediately with Greg, but just as he does, Sarah opens the door with a white outfit having a polka dot design and makeup on her face designed as a skull. She reaches for her jacket. Hey, Sarah, says the guy. Be careful, huh? There's some real creeps out there tonight. Thanks, Jimmy, says Sarah as she puts on a helmet and rides her bike away from the stadium. While Wirt and Greg follow Sarah's trail, they see two small kids in disguise as robbers and where a cop car is at a stop sign. Hey, you two robbers, you're under arrest, says a voice from the cop car before pausing. Nah, I'm just kidding. Happy Halloween. Hey, stop running in the streets. Just kidding. Happy Halloween. Wirt and Greg follow Sarah until she ends up at a house where multiple kids are dressed up in their own Halloween costumes. Music from inside blares loudly as Sarah enters the party. There she goes, says Wirt to Greg. Let's get her. Yeah, let's get her, says Greg threateningly, pounding his fists together. No, we're not going to get her like that. What are we doing? We're just going to get the tape back. Oh yeah, let's go in after her. I can't. I wasn't invited to this party. I'll go in. You weren't invited either. Oh, says Greg, but proceeds to go closer to the house. From the crowd outside, a younger man begins to say, yeah, man, there's lots of bat and ball games besides baseball. One old cat, two old cats, stool ball. Greg continues to walk into the house, trying to ask around for something, but Wirt can't tell if he's still outside watching Greg walk around and talk. Why are you talking to them? Asks Wirt, mainly to himself. Greg points at Wirt, where a bunch of students dressed up in costumes look directly at Wirt. He panics before he enters the house. Oh, hey guys, says Wirt. I don't know what he said, but it wasn't true. Oh, hey Wirt, says the group. How's it going? Oh, yeah, stammers Wirt. Well, see you around, guys. Wirt backs up from the group, unknowingly bumping into Sarah. I used to be really good at ballet, says Sarah, talking to one of her friends, but my mom wanted me to become a wrestler. Oh, Wirt, you're here. Well, begins Wirt nervously. I was just asking if you were here, Sarah says. Oh, wow. Oh, hey, we're gonna go to the graveyard. Oh, are you gonna do something there? Nah, we're just gonna hang out and drink age appropriate drinks. Like juice? Yeah, whatever. Age appropriate stuff that's not illegal. Hey, you should come. Uh, I don't. From a different room, Jason Funderburger comes up to Sarah, dressed in a dark green suit. Hey, Sarah, says Jason in a very nasally voice. Are you ready to go? Hey, Jason Funderburger, says Wirt dismally. Oh, hey, Wirt, he says nasally. Let's go, Sarah. You coming, Wirt? Asks Sarah. No, says Wirt quickly. You go have fun with Jason Funderburger. Okay, sighs Sarah longingly. But if you want to stop by later or something. Bye, Wirt, mumbles Jason. Sayonara, Jason Funderburger, says Wirt quickly before he looks over and sees the jacket he was searching for. Sarah's jacket. My jacket. Thanks, Wirt, says Sarah suddenly from behind him. Well, see ya, hopefully. Bye, says Wirt before groaning to himself. The small group of friends leave together and end up walking into Eternal Garden, the closest cemetery. They laugh as they head inside. You're limiting the universe to only things humans can understand, begins Sarah to her friend. Well, says her friend quickly, you're limiting the universe to limiting the possibility of human understanding. Oh, yeah, maybe, Sarah shrugs. The friends continue to walk through a trail passing by several headstones. Some areas are lit with lamplight while others are kept in the dark. Jason comes up next to Sarah. Sarah, mumbles Jason. Yeah, she says. Do you believe in ghosts? Why? Because there's one right behind you, he yells, pointing, but nothing happens and Sarah doesn't laugh. I'm just kidding. It's okay, Funderburger, she whispers, patting him on the back. The kids continue their walk through the cemetery while Wirt and Greg follow from behind, barely entering the place. But as they begin to walk through, a loud croak echoes through the area. Rawr, Greg gasps with excitement. Wirt, you tricked me, he exclaims. I didn't know this was a frog hunt all along. It never was a witches' gathering, gasped Greg, pointing towards the group of friends still dressed in their costumes. Wirt watches carefully as they begin to tell stories. Jason sits next to Sarah as he's in the middle of his story. And so then, mumbles Jason nasally, a guy with an axe showed up. Everyone laughs at his comment. Wirt and Greg watch them from behind two headstones, one that curiously reads Quincy Endicott. Ugh, sighs Wirt. Everyone loves Funderburger. What do I do? I'll pretend to be a dead elephant, suggests Greg, and distract them while you get the tape. Please, just stay here, says Wirt, but looks over to Jason and Sarah. And so she kept getting closer and closer, Jason says as he tries to reach for Sarah's hand. Behind the headstone, Wirt grumbles furiously. Go, Greg, do it, Wirt says shortly. Okay, says Greg happily. You can let go of my hand now, says Sarah to Jason. Oh, yeah, he mumbles. You can hold my hand, Funderburger, I don't care, says one of their friends quickly. Greg steps out from behind the headstone and trumpets like an elephant and moves in weird steps. Hey, isn't that Wirt's little brother? Asks one of the friends. No, answers Greg. I am the headless elephant. Greg trumpets more and the friends laugh. Is Wirt here too? Asks Sarah. Over there, shouts Greg, pointing directly toward Wirt, who ducks behind the headstone, but his pointed hat can still be seen. Wirt, we can see you, man, says their friends. What are you doing over there? Asks Sarah. Oh, hey guys, stammers Wirt. Greg, there you are. Totally wasn't spying on anyone. I was just looking for... Just then, the headlights of a cop car and the red and blue lights flash brightly at the kids. They all stand up in a panic. What's going on here? Demands a voice from a megaphone. Is this some kind of witches' gathering? You're all under arrest. Run! Shouts one of the friends as they all scatter in different directions. Hey, calls the voice. I was just kidding. Slow down, kid. You're going to trip or something. Run, says Greg. Where do we go? Asks Wirt. That way, points Greg, but they end up at a stone wall, covered in leaves and roots. Greg, why did you say this way? I thought I heard a frog. The headlights of the cop car flash on them again. This is private property, calls out the voice. Wirt finds a nearby tree and begins to climb it with Greg following closely behind. Hey, don't climb up there, says the voice. That's dangerous. Get down here before you hurt yourself. Instead, in, Wirt looks over the cemetery to find that Sarah and Jason are hiding together behind a large statue of an angel. He watches as Sarah pulls out the tape that Wirt placed inside. It has my name on it, says Sarah, confused. Let's go listen to it, smirks Jason. No, whispers Wirt to himself in horror. Kids, really, calls out the voice again. Get down from that wall. That's it, says Wirt to Greg. That's the end. Wirt and Greg face the other direction and jump down over the wall. No, darn it, no, says the voice. I meant come down this way. Wirt and Greg land on a patch of tall grass safely, but Wirt is still mad with Greg. Once again, you ruined my life, snaps Wirt angrily. Who, me? asks Greg. Ugh, you and your stupid dad. You're always prodding me, trying to get me to join marching band. Oh yeah, if you joined the marching band, you could hang out with Sarah more. That ship has sailed, Greg, thanks to you messing that up too. A loud croak echoes nearby. Rawr. Hold that thought, Wirt, says Greg, searching for a frog in the bushes close to them. What are you doing now? Groans Wirt. Ha ha, Greg announces as he pulls a large frog out of the bushes, who looks startled at first. We found our lucky frog. We got to name him for good luck, he says as the frog croaks again. Rawr. I don't want to have anything to do with you or that frog. Okay, I'll try to think of a name myself. Ugh, I'm leaving. But just then the sounds of an oncoming train comes loudly from around the corner. The lights of the train suddenly appear in front of them, and in a moment of panic, both Wirt and Greg jump to the side, where they tumble down a steep hill into a thick forest, and they are constantly rolling and hitting the ground until they splash into a deep river, where both of their bodies begin to float daintily to the bottom. The scene shifts back to the present day, where Wirt finds himself slowly waking up in a cramped space and surrounded by a family of bluebirds, nestled closely next to each other. There is a faint humming singing as Wirt groans with a weak voice. Huh? Where? Oh, you're awake, says a motherly bird, grabbing a spoon. Here, eat some dirt, as she shovels a spoonful of dirt into Wirt's mouth, but he spits it out in disgust. Beatrice? He asks, confused. You know my daughter, gasped the mother bird. Where is she? I don't know. Greg's frog croaks slowly and weakly from the side, where Wirt can see that outside is a terrible blizzard. Somebody left you and that frog on the doorstep, explains the bird. Beatrice, assumes Wirt. But have you seen my brother? No, I'm sorry. I gotta go. You're in no shape to head out into that snowstorm, young man. Here, eat more dirt. Wirt takes the spoon himself and munches on the dirt. Thanks. Come on, guy, says Wirt, taking Greg's frog carefully in his arms. Let's go find Greg. At least wait until the storm dies down a bit. You'll be no good to your brother Ted. I was never any good to him alive either, admits Wirt grimly as he climbs out of the tree. Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you see Beatrice again, give her a hug for us. Wirt pauses as he walks outside. Yeah, he mumbles softly before going back out into the blizzard. Their mother bird and her family watches Wirt slowly disappear into the heavy snowstorm, returning once again into the unknown. Whew, all right. Chapter 9 done. Very close to the end. So chapter 9, basically the only one that is set in, I guess, our world, quote unquote, our world. It always gives me like a sense of like, like the 1990s, like the 90s. Probably like early 90s though too, because he still uses tapes and recordings and stuff like that. It's always funny to see that, I guess. But yeah, fun times. Chapter 9 is always pretty fun anyway. It's just kind of like a nice little break, little shift. And it's always, obviously, it's good to see the reasoning, I guess, or just how Wirt and Greg entered the unknown. That's always really, really fun. But yeah, I think I don't really have anything else. Thank you. Thank you. It was great. Thank you. I tried my best, as I've said a few times. But otherwise, I think we're going to go into the very last chapter of the live stream and the story and all that stuff. It'll be good to finally finish the story for the night. So here we go with chapter 10, The Unknown. So here we go. The snowstorm worsens as the wind howls and blows the snow in a blinding manner. Beatrice flies strenuously over the forest before spotting something different. She glides down, and as she flies over a small hill, she sees a small figure standing in front of a shadowy silhouette with two bright eyes and what looks like antlers in the form of twisting sticks. Huh? Greg? Beatrice asked herself, coming closer to them. Did you fetch for me the golden comb? Asked the beast in his low, menacing voice. Will that work? Greg asks, holding out a small item. This is a honeycomb, says the beast. Golden comb of honey, hee hee hee. Greg, oh Greg, shouts Beatrice, but a sudden gust of cold wind blows her back and into the forest again. Huh? Greg says, barely noticing her fading voice. Never mind that, Gregory, says the beast. You've brought me the first two items, a golden comb and a spool of silver thread. It's just spiderweb on a stick. Now, says the beast with clenched fists, I want the sun. The sun? Mumbles Greg with tired eyes. Here, says the beast, throwing down a small cup on the snow. Lower the sun out of the sky and into this china cup. Well, that sounds impossible, admits Greg, taking the cup. Anything is possible if you set your mind to it right. But hurry, the sun will be setting soon, and... Hey, yeah, that's it, exclaims Greg. Dun 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 dun. Greg finds a tree stump layered in snow, but has a full view of the setting red sun. He sets up the cup so that it looks like the sun will be dipping slowly into the cup. However, the snow continues to fall and pile up around Greg, causing him to turn pale. See, says Greg, that old sun's going right down into this old cup. You have figured it out, compliments the beast, and I thought you might give up. Give up? I'll never give up, says Greg, but with deep cold breaths. Just gotta wait, just gotta wait. Yes, just sit there in the cold and wait. Greg sits down at the stump and closes his eyes. Meanwhile, Wirt stomps through the forest where the wind blows violently at him, keeping the frog in his grip. Wirt continues to tramp through the snow. Just then, a faint scream grows louder, and Beatrice suddenly flies straight into Wirt before landing on the cold snow. Beatrice, asked Wirt. Wirt, gasped Beatrice. Beatrice, what are you doing out here? I saw Greg. What? I saw Greg. He was with someone. This way. Wait, Beatrice, you should go home. I can't. Not yet. Not until Greg is safe. Wirt pauses before he agrees with him. Okay. We should hurry, she says. I think it was this way. Thank you, Beatrice, says Wirt, tucking Beatrice close to his cloak for her warmth. While Wirt heads deeper into the forest, the woodsman is gathering supplies at the old grist mill, which is also covered in a thick snow. He coughs as he tries to find more edelwood pieces. Eventually, as he sorts through his bare mill, he finds 2 tiny sticks of edelwood. With delight, he places it in the grinding machine. Oh, here, edelwood, says the woodsman, happily at first, and seemingly directed towards the lantern he constantly holds. You see, this will give us some oil, won't it? Yes, we'll keep that light of yours shining, won't we? As the woodsman tries to have the machine grind the sticks, nothing happens, and he hits the metal pipes. Just then he hears the chilling operatic songs of the beast from outside. The woodsman gasps as he grabs his axe and heads outdoors. He stares into the misty cold forest. The song of the beast echoes hauntingly throughout it. With a slight pause, the woodsman decides to go back into the forest to find the beast, following his song. And I think I did find that one, which is definitely haunting, I guess. Oh. Hold on a second. Oh, well. It was right after this. So there you go. The woodsman finds his way easily through the forest, trudging through the deep snow and into the darker shadows of the woods, his path lighted by the lantern in his hands. From within the darkest parts of the forest, the woodsman spots a figure in the distance. He approaches it, seeing the glowing white eyes of the beast and his twisted antlers. "Woodsman," the beast welcomes him, "I knew you would come. I have something for you." The woodsman looks down at the ground to see Greg's body wrapped tightly around branches and leaves, his skin turning pale and his eyes sunken with exhaustion. "Oh, what have you done?" shouts the woodsman. "Why, I've given you another Edelwood," says the beast calmingly. "No!" "He will burn nicely in the lantern." "No, I won't do this." "You've been grinding up lost souls for years." "I didn't know. I didn't know this is where the Edelwood trees came from." "And would it have mattered?" mutters the beast with an ethereal cry of a little girl coming from the lantern, where the woodsman looks at it mournfully. "Would you have just let your daughter's spirit burn out forever? Feed the lantern." "No," says the woodsman defiantly. "I suppose after all these years you just don't care for her anymore." "Hold your tongue or I'll remove it from your mouth. Do not speak of my daughter. She would not wish this. Let's get you free." The woodsman kneels down to Greg and sets the lantern on the snow. As he is busy with untangling the bramble from around Greg, a black, shadowy hand slithers its way toward the lantern, but the woodsman notices this and swings his axe towards the hand, barely missing it. I only wish to help you, woodsman," calls the beast, slinking back into the shadows. "You need oil, or else your daughter will." "I told you to hold your tongue," the woodsman yells, pointing at the beast before swinging wildly at him. Both the woodsman and the beast retreat further into the forest, with the woodsman swinging at the beast, who laughs at it as if it were a trivial game. Not too far away, Wirt and Beatrice stumble through the dark woods. "I thought it was this way," guesses Beatrice. "A light," spots Wirt from the distance. "A lantern," corrects Beatrice. "It looks like the woodsman's," says Wirt as he picks it up and shines the light on the surrounding area, where there is shattered and split with the wreckage of the woodsman. "Oh, what happened here?" Beatrice asks before Wirt spots Greg's weak body wrapped in Edelwood and leaves. "Greg!" shouts Wirt. "Greg, are you—" "Wirt?" asks Greg weakly, his body wrapped in the beginnings of an Edelwood tree with the sticky oil already dripping from the branches. "Oh, Greg! Wirt, I did it! I beat the beast," Greg says, coughing roughly and spitting out leaves. "Ah, geez," says Beatrice. "The leaves are even growing inside of him." "No," spits Greg. "I was just eating leaves. I'm sorry, Wirt." No, Greg," sniffles Wirt. "It's my fault we ended up here. Everything's been my fault. I should have been more—" "No, I meant my rock rock." "What?" asked both Wirt and Beatrice. I stole it," Wirt explains Greg weakly, lifting up his rock with the painted face. "I stole it from Mrs. Daniels' garden. I'm a stealer, and that's a rock fact." "What? No, Greg, that doesn't matter," says Wirt. "It does matter," coughs Greg. "You have to return it for me, okay?" No, you can give it to her yourself. Come on, we gotta get Jason Funderburger home, right?" Wirt holds up the frog, who croaks weakly. "Jason Funderburger," says Greg. "The perfect frog name." Greg begins to slump over, his eyes closing slowly. Greg, shouts Wirt. Let's get him out of this. Come on, says Beatrice. Wirt drops the lantern and begins to pull at the small tree, but none of the branches will even budge. He tries harder, but nothing works. Just then, a loud thump sounds from behind them and Beatrice. They turn around to see that the beast has dropped the weakened and defeated self of the woodsman, his axe on the cold snowy ground. "Give me my lantern," booms the beast's voice. "Your lantern?" asks Wirt. "No way, we need this thing," says Beatrice. "Yeah, I'm keeping this," adds Wirt. "I have to get Greg home." "Your brother is too weak to go home," says the beast. "He will soon become part of my forest." "I won't let that happen," shouts Wirt. "Well then, perhaps we better make a deal." "A deal?" The woodsman begins to stir awake, but with great pain. "I can put his spirit in the lantern. As long as the flame stays lit, he will live on inside." Wirt looks at the lantern and over at Greg, wrapped in the small tree and back again to the beast. "Take on the task of lantern bearer," continues the beast, "or watch your brother perish. Come here." Wirt pauses for a moment before stepping forward. "Okay," he sighs, as Beatrice gasps in shock. But as Wirt approaches the beast, a small ringing sound echoes and something inside of him snaps with defense. He doesn't let go of the lantern. "Wait, that's dumb," says Wirt. "What?" snaps the beast angrily. "That's dumb," repeats Wirt. "I'm not just going to wander around in the woods for the rest of my life." "I'm trying to help you," says the beast deeply. "You're not trying to help me. You just have some weird obsession with keeping this lantern lit. It's almost like your soul is in this lantern." The woodsman gasps in realization. Suddenly, the beast makes multiple guttural sounds while his body twists and turns in irregular shapes. All around Wirt, the darkness engulfs him, and all he can see is the beast's eyes. "Are you ready to see true darkness?" demands the beast in multiple deep voices. Wirt shakes as he holds up the lantern, his eyes wide in fright, but a sudden strength returns to him, and he stares down the beast. "Are you?" Wirt's voice cracks nervously. "Are you?" Wirt opens up the lantern's lid to blow out the flame inside, but the beast reaches out his arm while the darkness around them reverts back to the forest. "Don't! Don't!" shouts the beast in panic. Wirt scoffs at the beast, realizing that he has found the beast's weakness and secret. Holding it at the woodsman, Wirt offers the lantern to him again. "Here, woodsman, I've got my own problems to take care of," Wirt says. "This one's yours. My brother and I are going home." The woodsman takes the lantern carefully while Wirt takes the axe and begins to walk back to Greg, splitting apart the edelwood branches so that his brother is finally free of it. Wirt glances nervously back at the woodsman, who is talking with the beast. "She was never in the lantern, was she, beast?" asked the woodsman. "Listen, woodsman, listen to me," says the beast, approaching right behind him. Meanwhile, Wirt puts Greg on his back and Beatrice sits on a branch. "Wirt," begins Beatrice. "Come with us," suggests Wirt. I have to go home too," says Beatrice. "Admit to my family that it's my fault that they're bluebirds." Wirt clears his throat before handing over the scissors that Adelaide had to fix Beatrice's problem. "What?" gasped Beatrice. "The scissors. That'll make your family human again," says Wirt. "You had them all along?" "I used them to escape Adelaide, and then, I was sort of mad at you." "Oh, you wonderful mistake of nature," says Beatrice as she flies over to hug Wirt. Nearby, the woodsman is still confronting the beast. "You see, woodsman," says the beast, "all who perish here will become trees for the lantern. Cut them down with your axe. Go, now!" "No!" shouts the woodsman, shining the lantern on the beast. In a split second, the woodsman sees the true form of the beast. A slender, macabre figure of what looks like wood and branches for his skin. All across his arms and body are holes that resemble multiple faces. His face is hollowed out and his bright eyes still glowing. From the side of his head are the antlers that grow ever so widely. The beast shouts in fear as the light passes over him. "Stop! You'll never see your daughter again, woodsman," warns the beast as the woodsman lifts up the lantern and opens the lid. Are you really ready to go back to that empty house?" "No! Woodsman!" With a trembling hand, the woodsman lifts up the lantern a last time and blows sharply. The forest grows completely dark as the beast growls and screams in defeat. "Goodbye, Beatrice," says Wirt among the darkness. "Goodbye, Wirt," says Beatrice. The scene shifts over to Wirt, where he is suddenly awake in the freezing cold water of the river that he and Greg splashed in as they dove for cover from the train. Wirt swims further down in shock as he sees Greg and his frog, taking them both in his arms, and he splutters back up to the surface and climbs over to the shore. With a weak body and vision, he sees the silhouette of people with flashlights before he passes out. Both Wirt and Greg are rushed over to the hospital, where Wirt slowly blinks awake hours later. Wirt, you okay?" asks Sarah, as her face is the first for Wirt to see as he sits up. "Can you see me, Wirt?" Where am I?" Wirt asks. "The hospital," answers Sarah. "Hospital? Greg! Where's Greg?" From the other side of the room, Greg is dressed in blue pajamas and holding his frog, who wears a top hat. Greg's hair is neatly combed instead of having a teapot on top. "And then," Greg says before gasping, "Wirt, I was telling them about the time we almost got—" Greg's frog croaks loudly. "Rawr." Haha, yeah, you were there too, Jason Funderburger, laughs Greg happily. Me? Asks Jason nasally. Not you, says Greg. Jason Funderburger, my frog. The frog croaks loudly again. Rawr. Our frog, corrects Wirt. Our frog, Greg smiles. Our frog? Asks Jason. No, not your frog, says Greg. Hey, so, says Sarah, pulling out Wirt's tape. About this, stammers Wirt nervously. Yeah, so I don't have a tape player, so, yeah. So maybe we can listen to this. You can listen to it at my house. Yes, says Wirt confidently, making Sarah smile. Maybe we should listen to some other tapes first, though, and sort of make our way to this one. This one's a little bit. Yeah, you can listen to it. As Wirt and Sarah talk, Greg holds his frog, who is dressed up in socks and a hat now, while the friend group watches in amazement because when Greg shakes the frog, the bell from Ani Whispers lights up from inside the frog. And so the story is complete, and everyone is satisfied with the ending, and so on and so forth. And yet, over the garden wall, the woodsman sits silently at a wooden cabin while a gentle snow falls around it. He sits there until he sees the front door open slowly, and where a younger woman with dark brown hair comes out with a candle and looks at him longingly. Father? She asks with a tear in her eye, before they both stare at each other with a warm embrace. In the forest, the large fish in the boat is still fishing, and suddenly pulls out a black turtle. In another area, Lorna looks out the window while Ani Whispers pours her a warm cup of tea. Further in, a frog pokes its head out of the mud, sniffs the cold air before diving back inside. In yet another place, Marguerite Gray looks up to a portrait of Quincy Endicott and Fred the horse lovingly. Small toys of the people at the Rainy Tavern are set down on top of a shelf. Still further in, a large circus is being acted and playing out, where Miss Langtree and Jimmy Brown watch it together with their animal students. And back in a humble, simple barn, there lays a few skeletons dressed in pumpkin outfits, where Enoch's ballooned head pops at the top, revealing a black cat. Finally, a young girl with red hair sits at a window inside a large house, and with her brown and white dog, they watch the snow fall. From behind her, a voice calls out. Honey, eat your dirt, says Beatrice's mother. Mom, stop calling it dirt, says Beatrice as she heads over to a kitchen area where a large family, mostly children, are enjoying their time at home. What are you going to do about it, says her mother. Turn us into bluebirds again? Mom, the family laughs as Beatrice takes a bite to eat. At last, the old grist mill is layered in fresh snow, and where no one has taken up refuge, lying still and empty in the forest. In the final moments, Greg's frog finishes his singing as he sits at a grand piano and spirals away from focus. And in the very last image, Greg sets down his painted rock in a garden, returning his item back to its owner. And that is the end. So, crazy. I'm not sure if I can find that last song here. Most likely not, but that is the the narration for you guys. Oh man. So yeah, definitely apologize for that that little interruption in the middle of everything. Definitely apologize for that. I didn't expect that to happen. So I guess that's what that does happen when it's like a 3-hour live stream. So who knows? And this is like literally my first one. So thank you guys for sticking with it and being here this whole time. I definitely appreciate it. As you can see, I have like a huge just passion and love for Over the Garden Wall. It's such a special show to me. So I'm glad that you guys can listen to my narration of it. Originally, I did want to publish the actual like novelized version because I basically novelized the show, and I did want to publish it into like an actual book. But yeah, I'm not sure how I would go about that because it's copyright stuff and things like that. So, but if there ever does come a time to publish the book, I would definitely jump at that chance because it's been very fun too. So. Otherwise I do have a playlist on my channel of Over the Garden Wall, and it goes into like deep dive stuff. It's all about the time settings, the character arcs. I'm working on editing my last video on that of the Over the Garden Wall theories, because a lot of people have theories on this show. Kind of gets you thinking. It's just kind of fun to like speculate and good stuff like that. But I definitely have a lot of other ideas for Over the Garden Wall videos, and long, short, whatever it is, it'll be fun to kind of go back and forth into the unknown and whatnot. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any other final comments, questions, comments, stuff like that, stick around for a couple more minutes, because other than that, it is definitely getting late. I would say it's almost I hope so. Hopefully I convinced you to watch the show, because it's extremely good, if you can't tell already. Definitely one of my more passionate ones. And you can always like watch it almost like as a movie, because it's only like, it's 10 episodes. Each of them are 11 minutes each. So, it's really just over an hour watch. So I just consider it its own movie because it's so short. But so it's definitely on like my top some people have like top 10 stuff to watch, and Over the Garden Wall is way up there. So because I can return to it basically anytime that I want and still appreciate it. Otherwise, I'll wait a couple minutes. If you guys want to say anything else, I'll be sticking around. But otherwise, it's like almost 9 o'clock where I'm at. So platform. It's on Prime. It's on Amazon Prime, but you have to purchase it. But it's only like, last time that I purchased it was $10 maybe, but it's like $10 for like the whole show. So that's like for all 10 episodes. So it's, for me, it was worth the buy. And that's when I first like actually started getting into like deep dive stuff, is when I actually purchased it, because I watched it like years and years and years ago. I forget when, maybe, I don't know, 6 years maybe. I think so. It was a while ago, but then I finally like rewatched it and then decided to purchase the whole show. And then that's when the deep dive stuff kind of went into, kind of kicked into gear. And then I realized, okay, this is going to be one of my favorite shows of all time. So, and I think it's fine when they left it at one season. And then the creator in Germany, you can watch the whole show. And really interesting. You can watch the whole show. That's incredible. We cannot. Over in the US, we cannot. But yeah. So I wonder. So then, are you in Germany, or is that just something you know? Because that'd be found the show on Disney. Really, they have it on Disney. That's interesting. Hopefully, they don't do anything extra with it. I would love to have the DVD version, because I love having a physical copy of stuff with like that. Because I know it's really rare, but they made a comic book of the show, but it's like really, really rare to find that kind of book. So, wow. Okay, cool. Very cool. You are in Germany. That's incredible. So does that mean, is it all in English, or do they have to do playing the show? Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, is it in German, the German language, or is it still in English? Like, or you know, playing the show? Yeah, it's only an hour long. It's a short one, but then like once you watch it for the first time, it really sticks with you. So. And I think universally, just no matter where you are, I think the music and the artwork is just commonly just a huge thing that fans of Over the Garden Wall just kind of like, um, what's the word? They all have a similar love and passion for the show, and for many reasons. And that's why I did the deep dive series. It's because it's the music, the art, the writing, the twists here and there, the whimsical sides of the very random characters. It can just go on and on and on about it. But yeah, that's really cool. That's very cool. I didn't expect somebody from Germany, but we welcome you to the stream. Did not know that. So I don't know what time it is over there. It's probably I don't even know. In the morning, early morning for you. But crazy. But yeah. Thank you for joining the stream. Once again, it was my first live stream, so I'm not really sure how a lot of stuff really works. Small channel and stuff like that, but at least it's a platform that I can rant, rant and talk about to others or stuff like that. Middle of the night. Oh wow. Okay. Early morning. Wow. Okay. So you really stuck it out through the whole night. That's crazy. But thank you. I'm flattered. that's amazing. Yeah, if I'm going to be making my book into an audiobook, I would really love to. I probably can, and I'd just be uploading it to YouTube as my own narration, I suppose. It would be a very long audiobook because I think I do have my book here. Let's see if I can get it out or not. Oh. But yeah, because I got my book here. Let's see if I can kind of get it into screen here. Lands of Ordia here. Yeah, there you go. It's a little better. Lands of Ordia. That's my book. But it is a very big book if you can't see that. It's like 600 pages. So it's a lot to read, but I would love to turn it into an audiobook for people to enjoy. So I would definitely do that. But yeah, if you guys do you guys have any other comments, questions, stuff like that before? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my book is called The Lands of Ordia, Ordia. The Lands of Ordia. It's a fantasy book. So if you enjoy fantasy, yeah, I've been wanting to. I actually did a quick. It was a while ago, a couple of months ago. I did a demo version, I guess, of my recording of the first chapter. So of chapter 1 of my book, I did my own my own recording. I haven't posted it anywhere, but I think the first chapter took me like 40 minutes to read, and then that wasn't even the longest chapter. So like imagine all the rest of them. So, but I definitely would over time, I think. So because that's book number 1, I'm editing and writing book number 2, and I started book number 3. So I have a lot on my hands. But it is on Amazon. So if you want to get a copy of that, it is on Amazon Publishing. So it's available a lot of places, I think. But it's definitely something that's been sitting in the back of my mind to do, is a little audiobook for that, which means I might either have to choose voices for characters, or I could just read it just kind of like the way it is, like this, just a little less specific on the voices, I guess. But definitely something I'd like to do. But yeah, because like the rest of my channel, I would say like 95% of it is probably just me reading, narrating a bunch of J.R.R. Tolkien's books. So, and that's aside from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Basically, all the other books that he made besides that, I read that on my channel. So it's been really fun. Definitely a little passion of mine. So, Yeah, I think. I mean, that's kind of like all that I have. Unless if you guys have anything else to add, to comment. Otherwise, yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear the clock in the background chiming. Every hour it goes off. Or vintage clocks we have over there. Kind of sets the tone, I suppose. 4 a.m. That's late. Or I should say early. Or 4 a.m. is very early. That's crazy. Can't even imagine staying up till 4 a.m. anymore. Yeah, I have a lot of German and Dutch blood in me, actually. Yeah, 9 p.m. for us. Yeah, because my last name is Skelhaus, so it's like a combination of Dutch and German. So I definitely have a little bit of the German blood in me. So very fun. That's the closest connection I can have. Yeah, 4 a.m. is very early. Be tired tomorrow. I mean, I'm already gonna be tired tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. I've always wanted to go to Germany. My wife and I, we went to the Netherlands for our honeymoon, and it was very fun. But it would be very interesting to do kind of like a European tour too, because I would love to go to Germany someday. Be very, very fun. Started learning Dutch, but that kind of fell off. That was a while ago. But yeah, I think yeah. But I think that's kind of all that I have for tonight. Um, so yeah, glad that you guys are here. Glad that you guys came. Again, apologize for the interruption kind of later on, but hey, I got most of it out of the way before all that happened. But very fun. I think I'm able to put the live stream on YouTube, or it's just available on YouTube because it was marked as public. So again, I'm not sure really how live streams work, but thank you very much for sticking around for the entirety of the narration. If you guys do want to check out my audiobook of Over the Garden Wall, it's definitely on my channel. I have a playlist that's literally just Over the Garden Wall, so you can find it there instead of like scrolling all the way, because it's been a whole year since I did the audiobook, but it's definitely something that I'm very proud of. That one has all the sound effects in the music on it. So that one is a little bit better. Even the voices are better on that one because I could actually alter them and edit them and things like that. So yeah, so definitely check that out if you want a little bit more. So yeah, so yes, good night or good morning. Glad you guys came, and I'll definitely have a few more Over the Garden Wall videos in the future. So hopefully you guys will watch those. Yeah, recorded my last deep dive series video, and yeah, that is all. So thank you very much. Glad you guys came. And yeah, that's it. See you later, and goodbye, good night, good morning, and all that good stuff.